Radio Hereford FC, the only station with full match commentaries of the Bulls, every game, every week.
Hello and welcome again to We're Going Down the Pub with me, Frank Williams, and yet again that famous ground guide guru of old, Mr. Simon Wright.
Oh my word, I can't take any more buttering up like that, Frank, but thank you for that intro.
Same introduction every time.
You put more words into it.
I'm trying to think of something to replace ground guide guru, and when I do, it'll be amazing.
Anorak.
Now, before we start,
yes.
after our last guide, which was to Wimborne, right, I sent them a link to our audio, which is great, and they were quick to respond with some inaccuracies. Well, a couple of their listeners did. I must say, most of their average gate of 250 must have listened to that, because it jumped up by about 190 people overnight when I sent it to them.
That's impressive. That is impressive. I'm liking the sound of that.
A few of them were quick to respond with some inaccuracies. Now, we have to apologise in advance for these in all cases, but our information is gathered first-hand by fellow Bulls who live near the grounds and who visit them on our behalf. Right? Now, they always seek out and interview someone from the club and then send us the information, which may be some weeks or even months before the games take place. Now, obviously, things can change over time, and we're so grateful to our volunteers and the clubs for the information, but we've got to apologise if some of the finer points change over time. It must also be said, however, that some clubs change their plans when they realise that it's us that's coming.
There's a certain nervousness gets involved,
sometimes at the last minute.
Yes.
They find something out that happened maybe the week before, and then they make changes to allow for that.
What we can do about that?
Take these guides for what they are: good general guides to stimulate and entertain. Well, we hope.
That's well said, Frank.
Okay. Now, Swindon Supermarine. What a great name.
It is, and I'm going to keep saying this, it is a mere 62 miles away from the Shire.
Unbelievable.
It's a bit further for us for exiles, but not quibble. 62 miles from the Shire.
Okay, so a Tuesday night match, that's more acceptable, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. Let me tell you a bit about this splendidly named club, Swindon Supermarine. They're the merger of two football clubs back in 1992, so quite recent. Now, one of them was the works team for the engineering giant Vickers Armstrong. Now, you and I, Frank, probably remember Vickers Armstrong. It was basically just like a bit like Pac-Man, but in engineering terms, wasn't it? They gobbled up everything.
Gobbled up everything.
One of their many companies was Supermarine, which of course is famous for the Supermarine Spitfire.
Right.
But more recent terms, they're an ambitious side. There was a point when they seemed to be so ambitious that they were getting through managers quicker than Aston Villa, and that's quick. That is quick. Now, from 2007 to 2011, they were in the Southern League Premier, so they're in Step 3. Quite a decent status. They've been trying to get back there ever since. Last season they got to the playoffs. Taunton knocked them out in the semis. And of course this season they're in a playoff spot again, and they were unbeaten at home until very, very recently when they got turned over by Evesham.
Yeah, that's right, they did. So it'll be a hard test for us.
It's going to be a hard test.
But they have one big disadvantage.
Yeah, no Jamies at all.
No Jamies at all in their squad.
I mean, we know the way to success is to pack Jamies into your squad, and they had none at all. Yeah. And there's another curiosity about them. We've been spotting the keep it in the family themes of so many of the clubs, and it's really hard to find any. And admittedly, the son of the assistant manager plays in midfield.
Well, come on.
Yeah, well, that's one, but it's not. It's not that massive that it's not like half the team related to each other's.
Not like Wimborne and Bridgewater,
and everybody else. It seems down there. Yes. bit on the ground then, which is 62 miles away. I've got to emphasise that. It's called the Webbswood. It's a newish ground in the middle of an industrial park. And which point, I'm not thanked you, Steve Roberts, thank you very much for doing all the legwork.
He's our local
man. He's been there and done that. He's been...
Yeah.
Chatting around this industrial park. It's famous for Honda and B&Q, this industrial park, if you need to know that. Yeah, fantastic.
I'll try and work out a connection between the two, apart from on your bike, which will be one. Now, at this point, let me say what they say about their ground. All right. Now, it's from their website. Decent website. It's very decent. It's not
It's delightful.
It is delightful. It's not one of these picture-room.
No.
It's good. Now, under two headings here, the Webbswood Stadium. It says there is car parking at the ground, and there is room for over 200 cars. Now, this information, if it's off their website, we presume it's accurate. Okay?
Yeah.
You will find the car park on your left as you enter the Supermarine complex. Park up and it's approximately 50 yards to the ground entrance. Alternatively, catch a number 7 bus from Swindon Centre bus station, destination for Highworth, and ask the driver for the stop at Supermarine roundabout. I mean, this is really, this is like going from Walk up to Bontrolis, isn't it? Really? Ask the driver to remember.
And assuming you speak the same language, of course.
If we work in Elzone, when Elzone to Birmingham, if say, ask the driver to stop at the Sikh temple, you know where it is. Doesn't work. At the Supermarine roundabout in South Marston, the ground is approximately a 300-yard walk on the opposite side of the roundabout on the left. Work that one out. You'll enter the ground from the main turnstile. This is situated on the right just before you reach the players and officials entrance and is clearly signed. As you enter the ground, in front of you is a club shop and on the left is a snack bar and clubhouse. Alright? Pre-match food and drink. If you are planning on having a pre-match pint, there are plenty of pubs in the town centre, but you can enjoy a pre-match drink in our clubhouse that opens 2 hours before kick-off. Disabled supporters are asked to contact the club in advance to arrange
They
parking.
are indeed.
That
was stressed to us.
If there's any inaccuracies in that, all right, it's not our information, it's theirs of their website.
Okay, well, right? I'm going to blow a hole in some bits of that already.
Well, there you go. I knew you were going to, because I've read your script. So we can't be held. Can't be held responsible for any inaccuracies.
Now, I'm just thinking about the Webbswood as a stadium.
I use the word script very loosely.
Oh, I think it's pretty damn tight, actually.
Inaccuracies in what they're saying.
Okay. Well, let's just try and work this logically, because I'll get confused and nobody else does. Okay. Nice thing about the Webbswood, it's on an industrial estate, which is out of town. And if it's a night game, you're in a rush, it's easy because you don't have to go through Swindon. You don't have to even go think about the notorious magic roundabout in Swindon. I mean, there's some people that, it takes them a week to get out of that one because they just stop and panic, So it's dead easy. It's just off the main drag, off the main 419.
Well, those people who've been to the Salisbury, Wimborne, Winchester route and have gone hot air balloon,
they'll know that so well.
Cirencester, Cricklade, 4 miles past Cricklade, the left-hand side, it's next roundabout, and it's off on your left. Dead easy. Before you get to the M4, if you get to the M4, you've gone too far.
Exactly.
And it's easiest.
There will be some very precise instructions on the Talking Ball website and in the programme about, turn left to this roundabout, turn right to that one, all those sort of things.
Saturday's programme against Didcot, it should be in there.
Yeah.
Could even be in on the Tuesday night. I don't know what sort of programme is going to be done for the HFA Cup match on Tuesday night. Very small one. But if Jamie's looking to pad it out with a couple of extra pages to get an extra 50p out of you, he might put that one in that as well. Surely not.
No, that wouldn't happen. Okay. The downside is the thing we'll have to come back to later. There aren't any local pubs, as in local, that you can walk to. That's crucial for a night game, obviously. Now, Webbswood, that sounds really leafy, doesn't it? It sounds sort of exotic, very country-like.
Sounds like a garden centre.
It does. Well, yeah. Sadly, it's the name of the timber company owned by the chairman.
Right.
Yeah, so...
Whose name is?
Webb.
Yeah,
Jez Webb, yeah. Well, there you go. Ground is being built in stages.
Hang on, who's the manager?
Dave Webb.
No relation.
I haven't been able to find
but the assistant manager's son plays in midfield.
Yeah.
So it's beginning to get incestuous again. Get in there.
Yeah, there's no mention of connections between Jez and Dave, so I'm not going to make assumptions. The interesting thing about the ground when you get to it is the Swindome, which is It's a huge indoor 3G training facility.
Now that is interesting. Now we are aware we're often accused of making critical or disparaging comments about other clubs' grounds. Surely not. No,
not us.
But one of the grounds dominated by this Swindon, which in effect is a 3G training facility. Now it's covered with a geodesic dome structure, a bit reminiscent of the Eden project.
Yes, thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
It's a fantastic training and multi-sports facility, it must be said.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be slightly critical, which of course we wouldn't be, would we?
No.
It's a bit like a giant quilted duvet. Now, if you were more inclined to criticism, we certainly would not condone that, would we? No. You could describe it more of a mattress protector for the elderly.
Oh, right. We're moving into dangerous territory. Good job if you talk when we get there.
But if you were going to be disparaging, which heaven forbid, we would publicly distance ourselves from that. You could liken it to a giant incontinence pad.
Oh.
It really is a strange structure. But my own...
we like the unusual, don't we?
But my problem with that is it's so close to... It actually precludes future development of the actual ground. It takes up one end of the ground behind the goals. And, if you're going to play cricket there and make a great side screen, fantastic. But it's not a high dome. It's quite a low, flat one, which I say it is like a duvet.
Maybe they're going to move all the play into there and have an indoor ground.
Well, it is 3G. It is 3G.
Exactly.
But I suppose they could do. In the bad weather, you can still play at Swindon indoors.
Indeed. Sounds good. Sounds good.
So it's an interesting thing. Have a look at the photographs. The top of their website. If you go onto their website, it is worth a look. Very interesting. But it means it takes up all the space behind one goal. Well, I can't see if they're going to want to move up 2-3 steps. Because they've got an ambition to get to the Prem. I wonder whether that precludes enough development to take it up to a bigger capacity.
We'll see. They got to get promotion first.
Exactly.
And it's still being built. They opened new dressing rooms only last Saturday against Evesham, so it's interesting to see that they've got some money there.
Cover?
Yeah.
Is there cover at the ground?
Cover? Yeah. There is cover, only I hesitate to launch into what the ground has got because there will be segregation that night.
Right, so we don't know what we're going to get.
Well, not in huge detail. I mean, I ought to emphasise straight away before the arms go up in the air, it's nothing to do with recent events. Now, when Steve, our visitor, went in August, Swindon were planning it then, so it's something they've always had in mind.
I think they told him they were expecting, they were planning for 1,000.
Well,
not likely to get that on a Tuesday night.
Well, no, but you'd have thought they'd know that in August, never mind October.
Well, 400 to 500 perhaps.
Would be an excellent turnout, wouldn't it?
It would be an excellent turnout for a Tuesday night at this time of year.
So, as we understand it, we will have our own parking area, which is basically just part of the main car park, I would guess. I would imagine we'll get one of the two stands, and I understand we're going to get a temporary turnstile, temporary catering, and a temporary bar.
Right.
Even though that would take up probably 2/3 of the gate.
What's their average gate? What are they getting?
I think it's around the 250 mark.
All right, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, admission.
Yeah. Admission, fairly standard, £9, concessions at £6. Interesting wrinkle though, that if you're a supporters club member of Swindon Supermarine, it's £5. And a membership of the supporters club is free.
Well, then you'd be silly not to become a member, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
I suppose it means then, that means then you can almost commit yourself to go regularly.
Yeah, well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? You'd hope so.
Disables well looked after?
Yeah, it sounds very, very good. I mean, you've already mentioned the key point that they were very keen to say, if you want a car parking place, please pre-book. There is a ramp into the clubhouse, but I presume that may not be relevant because we may not be able to go in. But there's level access everywhere, and there's a lot of ramps, which is always good to hear. So disables, you'll be fine if you can get along. It'll be good to see you. Refreshments. Yeah, we mentioned refreshments.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Please, they won't be as good as the burgers were at Wimbledon.
No, well, we did tell people get down and try them burgers. And by the sound of it, some people did, which is brilliant.
I had one. It's very nice.
Oh, why can't more clubs do that?
She has a choice of cheeses as well.
Oh.
Excellent. And I mean not Kraft cheese slices.
No, the real
little
McCoy.
slices of cheddar. Very good.
You're making me feel hungry now,
Well, you didn't go. You missed out on it.
I know, part time.
Absolutely.
Do you know when you're when you got dual nationality, you get accused of being a part-timer at both. It's really annoying, but
I
anyway.
want to ask you about the 1-1 draw against Spurs.
Oh, people don't want to know about that.
They don't.
No, they don't. Okay, let's get back to where he was. Now, of course, the downside, as we said earlier, being a night game, middle of industrial park, there isn't a pub within a mile or even a mile and a half. Okay, so if you're early, there's a couple of local Arkle houses to visit. Or I understand, Frank, you've got an idea of your own to throw into the pot.
I have. It depends whether you're going to drink before or after. If you want to drink, well, it doesn't really matter actually. But this pub does get quite crowded. Coming back from Wimborne with Keith Hall,
What you do? High speed nowadays.
who knows every pub on the journey, practically anywhere.
People call me an anorak.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah. About 4 miles north is the village of Cricklade, which you come through between Cirencester and Swindon Supermarine. And there's a pub in Cricklade called the Red Lion. All right? And at the back of it is a brewery, the Hop Kettle Brewery. It's called.
Intriguing.
Now, the interesting thing is, believe it or not, to get to it, you've got to cross the River Thames.
No.
Yes,
The
it is the
Thames.
first town on the Thames. The Thames there is about 10 foot wide. They don't actually need a bridge, you could ford it quite easily. It would come up to your ankles, right? There's watercress on it, which is really, it's lovely. But you park your car, walk over the Thames and into the pub. So you could say, I went to Swindon Supermarine on a Tuesday night. I had to cross the Thames to get twice. Yeah. Now this pub, right, this pub, 10 real ales, including 4 of their own. All right. They've also had, on this particular night that we went in, they had Firebrand, St Austell, Wadworth 6X, Butcombe, Supernova, Tall Order, and Firebrand's Dead Elvis. From Launceston Breweries, that was 6.5%. We didn't touch that.
Sugar,
And the food, the menu in there looked remarkable. They bought the house next door and knocked that into a restaurant as well, so it doesn't take up room in the pub.
This is
Fantastic place. But we obviously it was a Saturday night that we called in there, and it was 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it was rammed. But we got a seat. Yeah. There is space outside. I think there's a beer garden at the back, sort of thing. But it is it's a lovely little place. If you're I wouldn't take a bus unless you're going to book first. But it's lovely, and the beers themselves were great. COB, I think it was. Cricklade Original Bitter is their own general one. It's only about 3.6, but I think you could drink a lot of that and not feel desperately ill, and have to cross the Thames to get back to your car, which is brilliant.
Without getting your wellies wet. Yeah.
4 miles, 4 or 5 miles from the ground,
Right,
so it's good. But it's a good stopping off on the way if you've got time, or calling for one. Going to be leaving the ground at 20 to 10 o'clock. You get one in there.
That's a thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
A couple of somewhat mundane alternatives now after that particular gem. Okay, this is really where you should be asked some musical accompaniment, Frank. This is the nearest one is the Rat Trap.
Oh,
Yeah, we should have a Boomtown Rats. Yeah. Probably the young listeners ain't got a clue what we're talking about, but there you go.
well, we don't have a clue what we're talking about.
No, okay. The Rat Trap is on the Highworth Road. It's Here Be Arkle's Beer, and they do sell food. And I said that's just about a mile or so from the ground.
Well, that would be nearer than Cricklade. Cricklade's on the route, of course.
Exactly. Probably slightly more interesting is the Crown Inn at Stratton. Again, that's another Arkle's house, and they're boasting homemade food. And if you really can't be bothered to travel back, they've even got a number of bedrooms so you can stay overnight. You know.
Is he doing that?
Well, it's only 62 miles.
That's right.
Yeah. Arkle's, for anybody not familiar with that particular house, it's a family-owned brewery going back 150 years. So and apparently they still use the same brewing methods. You know, the old dead rat thing. But there you go. Yeah, so
that's excellent. Now getting there.
Yeah.
Reg is back.
Oh.
It was lovely to see Reg standing outside Wimborne's clubhouse last Saturday. Had his photograph taken. And interesting, if you get on the Hereford Way days, you see that photograph of Reg and Matebid standing outside.
Yeah.
But sitting down in the corner would look like a vagrant. Did you see the picture? It looked like a drunken vagrant, which we don't know who that was. It looked like it was somebody. All he needed was a cloth cap and a violin and a dog bite and a cardboard box to sleep in. That's what it looked like. But Reg was in the photograph. Nice to see you back, Reg.
Exactly.
Reg is leaving Radford's at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
£10, which is not bad, because he's probably going via Bali again to top up his tan, on the way.
Well, why not? Why not?
But no, back. Nice to see him back. All the details are on the Hereford Away Days Facebook page.
Your text number, yeah. And one novelty, in theory, you can go by train.
On a Tuesday?
Yes, this really gobsmacked me. There is a train back. It leaves promptly at 1 minute past midnight.
Well, you get a taxi up to the Red Lion in Cricklade.
Exactly, you'd have time for that, yeah. And you trundle along to Newport, where you have a change and you have to wait. And then you can get into Hereford at 2:13 a.m. I mean, who knew? I didn't know there was trains at that time.
Yeah, but what about getting there?
There's several getting there. It's getting back is the interesting bit, isn't it? But
that is.
Yeah, I did not know there was any trains at that time in the morning. But bear in mind, the stadium is in the sticks, so you'll need that aforementioned number 7 bus, and heaven knows whether it's running after the game. I suspect it probably isn't. So it's for the masochist, really.
Well, that's excellent. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. I certainly have. The Bradleys gets no worse.
No,
does it with
job,
time?
Good job.
People saw the pictures I put up of the 19 good reasons for calling in, the 18 beers and dawn behind the bar.
Yes, my word.
Yes, we must do this again soon.
Oh, go on if you insist.
All right.
Okay.
Hope you enjoy your trip to Swindon Supermarine.
Only 62 miles. Get there.
And we'll see you again soon. Thanks for listening.
This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls. Match Day Live.